How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel and another entry in sharing your stories, which if this is the first video that you are watching in this series, I am reading aloud story submissions from members of the Vanlife Plus community here on YouTube or Rumble, Odyssey, wherever you might be watching. And there are stories of nomadic lifestyle, nomadic dreams, goals, aspirations. I understand all three of those things mean the same thing, or just stuff that is going on in their lives. This is a place where people can come, share what's going on in their lives, get feedback from others in the community in the comments section, and just have a voice, I guess. And people seem to be responding really well to it, and I'm having a really nice time doing it. Fair warning, a lot of the time the stories are a little bit on the sadder side, but as humans, we all experience tragedy, and unfortunately, those are the things that really do stick with us. Again, I think the important thing to remember is that at the end of the day, those experiences, if they don't destroy us, they strengthen us and make us learn the most, I think. Anyway, without any further ado, we'll get right to it. I lied. There's a little bit of an ado here. I apologize if you can hear all of the cars and stuff outside. I'm in a different location than I ever have been before, but I will do my best in editing to drown it all out. All right, so now, without further ado, our first story comes from Pamela. She writes in and she says, I am a 50-year-old mother, grandmother, and wife. My husband and I have been together 22 years, the 16th of this month, which would have been January, because I'm not very good at staying on top of these stories. My apologies. He is a master mechanic, and I am a retired medical assistant. I was told at 32 that I could not work anymore because of my spine. I have arthritis now. I've got it everywhere else, but anyway, I'm hanging in there. My health don't define me. But I wake up every day and I struggle with depression and anxiety because my 21-year-old daughter was murdered by her ex-boyfriend and they cannot prove it, so they cannot get the asshole. So I struggle every day, but I take one day at a time, sometimes 1 minute at a time, and I get courage and I get strength from YouTube people like you, and I took up crochet. I have a business now of crochet things, wearables, sweaters, headbands, hats, you name it, I can crochet it. And that's what keeps me going. And I just like to hear that you're out there and all the beautiful places that you could wake up and see. And it just makes me want to get an empty nest. And then we have a 20-year-old who still lives with us. When he goes, my husband and I would like to sell our houses and get an RV and travel. You make it look easy. I don't think it is, but hey, I just like to watch you and get encouragement because I really do want to do this someday. But thank you so much for the information, for showing us the good and bad. I appreciate it. May God bless you and your family. You're a great father from what I can see on here, and I think that's beautiful, and I am so happy for you. I wish you and your family nothing but the best, and may these gas prices go down. Amen. Keep it rolling. Pamela McGuire. Well, thank you very much, Pamela. She also says, P.S. Here are a couple things that I have crocheted. A little doggy for my best friend in Minnesota and my signature sunflower blanket. Thank you. I will include those photos here. I can see the one. The other one's not. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I'll throw it up here. Thank you very much for writing in, Pamela. I can't begin to imagine what it's like to live with that sort of tragedy in your life every single day. Again, like most people that write in, you are staying focused and finding happiness in little things. Like you say, you're taking it one day at a time, 1 minute at a time sometimes. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't imagine there aren't days where you go 1 second at a time thinking of stuff like that. Life is unfair, for sure. Again, I can't chime in on that situation because I have never experienced anything like it. You have my absolute condolences, for that situation, and I'm glad that you are finding a little bit of joy in what I'm doing, and your very kind words definitely don't fall on deaf ears. I appreciate it very much. I guess I do tend to make this lifestyle look easy, but like you even said, I do show the bad with the good, so hopefully you're learning a little bit and preparing yourself for when the day comes that you two are able to hit the road. And I hope that day comes soon. Not unless, I mean, not unless your 20-year-old's not quite ready to leave yet. Anyways, thank you for writing in again, Pamela, and sharing. All right, this next story comes from Ryan Tomlinson. Subject line says, "Hey Matt, this is lengthy and sensitive." He says, "Been watching your channel for quite some time now, and I love your personality." On to the story. Starting from when I was a child, I was mentally and physically abused. I had to watch my mom go through it all as well while growing up. I was so stressed out about our safety, I didn't sleep at night and fell asleep during school. As a result, I got bad grades, C-, D, E, and Fs. I have a few times while growing up seeing my stepfather stoned and his buddy being all over my mom. I had to put a stop to it, and I gave one guy a knuckle sandwich. My stepdad grounded me all the time, never had freedom. It was very mentally draining. And then with me being all screwed up by my mid-teens, I was assaulted by a family friend. That was when I clued in that I had a serious problem that needed addressing. He took advantage of a younger person who didn't know any better. Anyway, after all that garbage, I hit my 20s and couldn't keep a relationship or a job. I got married in my mid-20s to my older son's mom. Skipping forward to my 30s, I was getting divorced. She wasn't a bad person. We were just too young and were forced to marry because we had a child. After that marriage, I was with another partner, and she mentally and physically abused me as well for over 6 years. I finally managed to get away, moved in with my parents, and then I met my youngest son's, damn, I miss that boy's mom. She tried so hard to deal with my mental illness, but her parents and family kept getting in the way. They never liked me from day one. That caused heart attack number 1. So after 6 years of living together, she moved out and went to her parents' place, only to be cheating on me with 2 back-to-back guys in their 50s. One was a tenant. I was so stressed that I had minor heart attack number 2. I was devastated. I lost all respect for her, but worried for my youngest son's well-being. Today, now 48, I've been financially screwed with 2 heart attacks and 4 angina attacks. When I apply for a job, I don't get shortlisted, not even an interview. I am stuck doing gig work. I average $20 to $25 a day, and I have van repairs to do and can't afford it. Being a nomad isn't meant to be easy, but the costs are getting insane. I also have a YouTube channel. It's called My Life Journey. YouTube originally shut down my monetized account because the trolls complained about my channel. Now I am in a rut. Mom isn't doing too well either. She is 74 and deteriorating slowly. So you can see my life has been full of stress. It's so hard to bring positivity to a channel when you are struggling in personal life to be positive. You and I did talk on Facebook and on your live chat when I was sharing my life. Anyway, I just wanted to get this out there for you to read so others can understand me better, that I am doing my best. Thanks for reading this, and all the best to you and the cats in 2023. Well, thank you for writing in, Ryan. That's a rough hand to be dealt, dude. I don't know what else to really say about that. We all have our demons, our struggles. I understand that it's hard to stay positive when shit is hitting the fan. But I haven't gone into any sort of great detail about what was going on in my life when I decided to just make the change and get my van. And I get you can't just flip a switch and be positive. For me, I was just done with the garbage and I removed the negativity from my life. I think I'm very fortunate in the fact that I have learned fairly early on in my life how to identify bullshit and people that will take advantage of you and treat you poorly. 6 years is a long time to be with somebody, but I get it. There was a child involved. But I hope at the very least, at the end of the day, my man, all the financial stuff aside, you have been able to learn from the emotional stuff. And I hope you don't find yourself in a situation like that yet again going forward. You're a good guy. You're writing in. You're sharing your story. I think there's a lot to be said for someone willing to vocalize the crap that they're going through. So I think you're on the right path there, dude. Keep your head up. You know what they say is once you get down to the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. I know it's cheesy and it's cliche. And yes, it's hard to remain positive when shit is that bad, but keep trying. One of these days you might just wake up and things will be a little bit different. Thanks for writing in, Ryan. All right, this next story comes from, it says anonymous, but then at the end they sign it Chris. So hi, Chris. Oh boy. Chris writes in and says, 2022 has been an awful year. I lost my wife to an unexpected, rare, and aggressive autoimmune disease. There's a saying that one must dig very deep to bury a spouse, and it's so true. The day she died, my nephew died in his sleep, and 3 weeks previous, I lost my aunt. I always thought the loss of a spouse would be a similar impact as that of losing a parent, but it's so much harder. Additionally, I couldn't visit her due to COVID restriction until the end was within days. After that, I had to handle the multitude of loose ends her death created. I felt like I was erasing the only vestiges that showed she ever existed. I was feeling as if I was erasing her. Now that I'm alone and she's been gone since March, I feel as if I should step away from everything into the nomad life for a break and hopefully at least some small amount of healing. About 5 years ago, I lived like a nomad out of an F-150 and drove coast to coast visiting 14 different national parks, and I loved it. Long term, I am thinking a hybrid life of nomadic periods and static periods might be a good thing. My extended family probably will think there goes the crazy uncle again, but I like that moniker. I don't ever want to settle into retirement. I'd rather go down in flames when my time comes. Later in the fall of 2023, I should be prepared to hit the road again with my 2 dogs and see the southern half of the U.S. coast to coast. I'm also going to make time to meet and spend time with other nomads. Travel and meeting people will probably help me greatly, and who knows, maybe I can help some of them in some way. Anyhow, that's my story and why I want to live the nomadic life. Chris, you know what? Your story, it starts with tragedy. Like we all experience. I always have that conversation with my cousin. We don't always have it, but I've had that. It's just like you get to that point in your life when people just start to pass away. That wasn't the case here. Obviously, there was a disease involved, and then unfortunate timing. And I don't know how your nephew passed away. My condolences for all of that tragic loss, and I completely sympathize and understand it being harder than you thought it would be, especially if you guys were, I'm assuming, in love and entangled with each other in a positive way. It's like losing part of your soul, right? When that person goes, having to shoulder the burden of responsibility of dealing with all of that stuff when she passes. I can't even begin to imagine what that's like. A lot of you have experienced so many different things than me. I'm sorry that I keep saying that I can't imagine what it's like, but it's true. There's no point in me sitting here and pretending like I can give all of the advice when it comes to that. Not that anybody's actually asking for it. What I can speak to is the nomadic angle that you're looking at. Heck yeah. I'm sorry your family could think you're still the crazy uncle. I'm glad you like that moniker. People need to calm down and realize it's 2023. If certain people can live their lives the way they want to live, there ain't nothing wrong with getting in your truck and seeing this absolutely incredible world that we live in. There's so much bullshit going on in the world, even till this day, that getting away from it and taking time just for yourself, yeah, that is exactly why this lifestyle is so damn appealing. And you got that figured out for sure. I say hit the road. I mean, you didn't really say why you might want to remain in a static position in a stick and bricks. Maybe you just enjoy it still, and there ain't nothing wrong with having a hybrid style life. I often think about potentially doing that going down the road in the future. I have no idea, but there ain't nothing wrong with that. But if there's nothing holding you there and you don't love it that much, just get on the road, do something crazy, do something big. I love your attitude about being able to meet new people and hopefully being able to help them. You got a good heart, my man. Thank you for writing in, Chris. This is a really short one. We'll see. This comes from Bobby. And Bobby writes in and says, "Hi, Matt. I can so relate to, when in a relationship, being identified with your significant other." This is in response to a previous video I did where I was out in BC at the picnic table talking about relationships. "You become one and really lose yourself. My husband passed unexpectedly at the age of 51 after our having been married for 30 plus years. Growing together each step of the way for all of those years through ups and downs. After his being gone 13 years now, I'm still trying to figure out how to be me without being the we that we were. He was my other half, and each day I try to rebuild that other part of me that is missing. It's not always about rebuilding after being wronged, but also about being left behind. Hence my name, although I'll play on words, Lady Time. Your videos give me refuge into a life we had dreamed to have together. No longer a dream, but a comforting place to reside. Thank you. Many blessings to you and yours, Matt. Thank you, Bobby. I should have known that it was you as soon as I read Lady Time. And then the Bobby clicked. Bobby is she's a big supporter of mine over on Patreon, as well as a subscriber here on YouTube. Yeah, you're right. It's not always about being wronged, but about being left behind. I will say that people when it comes to relationships who have been left behind, you have more of a leg to stand on when it comes to coping with the loss of that person. That's something that was inevitably taken from you in a way, more so than when you try to say, oh, the relationship was taken from me when a breakup happens. And that was more what I was speaking about, my issues with relationships and losing yourself in that person. It's okay to lose yourself in a person and have these sorts of undying bonds of love between one another. I'm a romantic. I believe in that stuff as well. I probably a little bit too much. Why I now have the opinions that I have, right? To have a connection like that for 30 plus years is incredible. I am very sorry for your loss. I'm glad you're slowly starting to find yourself again. I don't think you ever have to completely find yourself again or forget about that person. It's, that person held your heart for so long. Yeah, it's always going to hurt. It's always going to be sad when you think about them not being there for you. But if the connection was as strong as you and anybody else who makes it out to appear, I don't think the person that has left would want the ones that were left to be as sad as we are. You are, I should say. I have never lost anyone in that way, but I do believe that if the connection was as strong as it was, they would definitely want us, you, to be happy. Thank you for writing in, Bobby. Appreciate that. Well, that was some heavy-handed stuff, everybody. That's why I like this. And I know a lot of people get, not upset in the comments, but there's comments sometimes left saying, "Oh man, it's so sad. It's so sad." But it's good process to share these experiences, especially with a community where you obviously feel safe in doing so. And it's pretty humbling. It's pretty humbling for me that this is the place that has been created for people to do that. So I am going to leave this one here. If you would like to share your story on the channel and have me read it here, please don't hesitate to send it in. You can do so at vanlifepluscontact@gmail.com. That email address will also be in the description of this video. And until the next one, everybody, just go out there, be happy, be creative, be yourselves. Most importantly, be positive, and I'll see you all in the next one.